right, Caneville, Footballville, we back. And LaMarcus Aldridge just shit on the Miami Heat. Trying to figure out what happened there. Listen, man, I'm chilling in that little group. We get a WhatsApp. Put up there that LaMarcus Aldridge coming to the Heat. So I'm like, okay, man, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, you get Marcus Aldridge. I'm like, LaMarcus Aldridge been in the league for about 20 years, on it. So I'm like, all right, the Heat may make a run of this thing. Maybe 3-1, 3-2. Brooklyn beat them. But at least, I mean, they in it. Looking at the tweets between the agents and Adams, these NBA experts, the guys that did, all of a sudden, Marcus Aldridge makes a U-turn and heads to Brooklyn to go play with Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin. Was somebody coming off the bench? Okay, I'm all for the players having freedom to do what they want to do and things of that nature. Because the man has always had the freedom and just moved the players around however he wanted to move them around. But you can't tell me LaMarcus Aldridge didn't hold the Heat at bay. They hold them at bay and then pull the rug out from under them at the end because they're in direct competition. They're in direct competition to make it to the NBA Finals. They're both in the East. So it's almost like, kind of like what LeBron did to the Heat when he was leaving Miami. When he waited to the last minute, didn't know he was going to make a decision, yada, yada, waited, and then left at the last minute. Made a decision at the last minute to leave and kind of left the Heat with their pants down. It's business, I understand, and it happens the other way around all the time. But when it happens to you, it hurts. So yeah, so listen, members, y'all go to the community section. That's where all the member stuff is. So you got to go to the YouTube main page. So if you're watching the video on YouTube, you click the link, and that takes you to the main page. Go to the community section. That's where all the member stuff is for bronze and the silver members. That's where we put the videos out early. That's where we put out the information. All the exclusive stuff for the members is found in the community section. Also, there's a link for the group me. So y'all can be a part of the group me. If you want to join, the link is in the description. The link is in the description. You want to subscribe, the link is in the description. Everything is down there in the description. All right, so right off the bat, man, Avery Huff is alive. We had an Avery Huff sighting, and it could be because maybe he's getting more one-on-one coaching. I don't know. I think Aristide is doing some work with the linebackers. But Manny mentioned Avery Huff's name the other day, and if you go watch Avery Huff huddle, his high school highlight, you thought Avery Huff was gonna come in here and blow the doors off, just by watching this huddle. But he has sputtered, haven't gotten on the field yet, and it could be a lot due to that spring last year. A lot of it, not just Avery Huff, but a lot of the young players struggled to get on the field last year, and it could be due to COVID in spring. Chaney and Knighton, I think that's a different deal. Chaney and Knighton, I think they had to play. For some reason, they just they didn't depend. They wasn't going to depend on Burns. So Chaney and Knighton were two young players. They had to get in. But for most of the players, the wide receivers, none of them really got any burn last year. Avery Huff struggled at linebacker, but we could kind of attest that maybe to this short spring, and he's coming along now. Manny mentioned his name. All of a sudden, he's living up to what we thought we would get out of Avery, because he's a big kid. He looked like sitting watching him walk around out there on the field, but can't get on the field. Sort of like the kid from Oregon. What was the kid from Oregon we recruited? What was Johnson? And I would go to the games pregame. I'd be at pregame 2 hours early on the side, and the games would come out. They do the pregame workout. And Johnson was a beast. He was the biggest kid I ever saw wear number 1 in my life. But he didn't never get on the field. He ended up transferring out here, going to Oregon, right? Ended up transferring out here to going to Oregon. Didn't really follow his career there. But Avery Huff is getting in the mix, and we surely need it. Also, Flag is still seems to be the lead for the middle linebacker position. I think Sam Brooks dinged up. And there's another name I've been hearing mentioned at linebacker. I don't know how true it is. I mean, we asked Manny the other day about changing positions, and he basically said it's just trying to make it through spring. They ain't changing anybody's position. But I heard Keandre Smith name mentioned. You think Keandre Smith? I don't know if he's big enough, but I heard his name mentioned at linebacker. But Manny kind of brushed it off and was just like, "Hey, we're just trying to make it through the spring. Nothing drastic like that going on. We're just trying to get through it." So y'all stay locked in with us, man. Hit the like button and share. We'll be right back. The member of the week, man, Felipe Ciberon, man. We appreciate you. Been a member for 7 months. Name should pop up down there somewhere, man. I started Footballville back in 2012, 2013-ish, with the sole purpose of just showing you football games. So it was the purpose of, if you were at your son game, you never got to see your nephew's game. And it was only youth football. I saw that there was a market that people wanted to, I don't know if it was the kids or the parents, but they were watching these games when I first started, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I mean, I had a little piece of camera, I just out there winging it. Maybe year 2, year 3, they started realizing that Footballville was going to be a staple in youth football. I was here to stay. It was me, it was Generation X. Generation X was on TV, they were big time. But they realized that Footballville was here to stay and that YouTube was here to stay, and it started, the marriage between the two started growing. So I would be, the teams and the parents started requesting that Footballville come to their games. It's only one of me. Every now and then I may have another cameraman, but I couldn't be everywhere at every league. But there was a particular family, the Restrepos. They were very persistent about Xavier's talent, and I'm saying from day one. I think he played for Coconut Creek. Correct me if I'm wrong, you can put in the comment section below. But they will contact me and tell me where he's playing at, his next game, what he did last game. They were never bashful about how good he was. And it didn't stop. He carried on into Paradise Camp. In high school, he ended up, I can't remember, he ended up at Deerfield. I can't remember his Restrepo's first high school. But he ended up at Deerfield his last year. But they were very adamant about how good Xavier was. It wasn't just one, it was like an uncle, I think it was an uncle, it was a wife, I think it was an auntie, it was a lot of them. He's always had like a very close family cheering party that was in his back, a support system, I would say. Xavier Restrepo ends up at Deerfield, goes to Deerfield, plays everything on the field, quarterback, wide receiver, ends his career and gets the University of Miami offer. I mean, he has an offer to the University of Miami. Once again, people are doubting him. They're not sure if he's fast enough, he's tall enough. Yesterday in scrimmage 1, Restrepo goes for, I think it's 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. And it's not a surprise. He's proved us wrong numerous times. Last year during the scrimmages, Restrepo was doing, his name started getting called a lot. He was one of the first wide receivers, young receivers we saw on the field at Clemson. So he's, with Restrepo, it's always been the forgotten one. He's always going to be the kid that's forgotten. He's not the tallest, he's not the fastest, but it seems like he's always going to be the kid that makes it happen. And it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped, as we saw yesterday. And don't be surprised, like Mark Harley said, don't forget about Restrepo on his Twitter. Caneville, Footballville, man. We out here.
It's gonna take 3 motherfucking days, and that's what?